Hey everybody, it's Jason here at Six Colors HQ, I guess. This is our first video. We're going to figure out what these videos are and how they work. Dan and I have been experimenting with some live videos. We're going to do more videos with the two of us, probably some videos by ourselves. Don't know how many, don't know how often. We'll figure it out together. Like I said in my post this week, we didn't have any idea what we were doing when we started the subscription and started the podcast as a lark, and then people really liked it. So we'll see where this goes and how people would, respond, and we'll go from there. So I'm doing this one by myself, recording it in my office, and I just picked a subject because I thought it would be kind of interesting to walk through it as a video and see what you think. And the story is, this is my e-ink project, which I am going to write about at some point, but I thought that a video would give you at least a glance about where I am right now with this e-ink project and the various steps that I've had to go through to get the e-ink project to work. I should probably give you we'll go to the two-shot of, because I'm directing this myself. I don't have a staff for that. I want to show you the thing, because this is the e-ink project. It is a thing that I made with an e-ink thing I bought on the internet for like $40. It's in a 3D printed case. It's got a Raspberry Pi on the back, and then it's got some software that I edited. Basically, I hacked together based on some stuff that I found on the internet, as you do. So you can just see it. This is my first attempt at 3D printing something using a remote service. I sanded it, but you can see I didn't do a great job. In the light in my kitchen, this looks fine, but like this is the shiny textured part down here. I would do that differently. It's two pieces that are screwed together. If you look really closely, you can see that I kind of over screwed parts of it, and the screw holes are sort of sticking out. On the back side, yeah, there's a Raspberry Pi back there. Now, it's supposed to be mounted on 4 heat inset screws, but I'd never done heat insetting before, and the little spaces to inset the screw holes were so small that I managed to ruin most of them. But one of them worked, so I have this Raspberry Pi hanging by one screw, which is pretty good. I had this Raspberry Pi laying around. That's the funny thing about this project, is you can't get Raspberry Pis right now because of legacy nodes, supply chain issues, all those things that we all know now as terms. But I had one laying around that I was using for I did a retro console project at some point, and it wasn't really being used, and I can emulate old video games on my Mac just as easily as on a Raspberry Pi, and better even. So I adapted the Pi for this project. So what you see here is the end result is I've got this little thing that I can stick on a surface in my kitchen, and it's like a desk calendar, but it's updating dynamically. Shows the date. It's got temperature forecast. That is coming from WeatherKit. I adapted, and I know I wrote about this on the website. I figured out how to use the WeatherKit REST API, which is a web API, so that I could put a forecast in my menu bar and make a forecast widget for my iPad home screen. I adapted that code here, so that's the forecast for today. The icon on the right there is a box and a piece of paper. It's our trash day tomorrow morning, actually. And we have an event in our calendar every week, an all-day event on Thursday that says it's trash night, and whether it's paper or containers. So I adapted this script to actually read that event, and if that event exists, it doesn't draw it as an event in the calendar. Instead, it draws an icon of either a big piece of paper and a cardboard box, or of bottles, so we know which one to take out. There's a little progress bar that's actually the progress through the year bar below it in the dotted lines. And then it's events. Today's my son's birthday. We're going to take him out to dinner later. I'm going to go curling on Saturday, pick up his birthday cake because his friends are coming over, and cleaning the house on Tuesday morning. It's going to be a big house cleaning day. So that's it. How did we get to this place? Well, let me show you. We're going to start over with a web page. Yay, it's GitHub. Who doesn't like GitHub? Well, this is a project by a guy who goes by 13 Bytes. He's Lewis. He's German. and he created this thing that he called the Portal e-ink calendar, and you can see his pictures. If it looks very similar, it's because I didn't just take his code. I got the e-ink screen he suggested, and he had 3D models for his stand, and I used those too. Now he has all these like portal graphics and other stuff that I took out. He was showing a month progress bar. So I changed that. I changed the fonts. I changed a bunch of stuff. But I used this as inspiration. And it was fairly easy to get it set up. I had to order the e-ink screen, which from Waveshare, which is this link that I can follow, $56.99. It's actually 2-color. I can do red too, but I haven't figured out a good use for the red. And it comes like this with this connector that connects into the hat pins that are on the top of the Raspberry Pi. I don't know anything about a Raspberry Pi, but I could connect the pins. It wasn't that hard. Now, the inspiration for this was actually a Daring Fireball post, which linked to John Calhoun's project called System 6, which is gorgeous. He ended up building, based on the same code, the e-ink calendar code, he ended up using a different e-ink display and building this amazing simulation of an original Mac interface. Some of the same things, the trash bulges when it's trash night. He's got moon phases and other things on there. It's adorable. And then he has this acrylic stand that looks like the silhouette, at least, of the original Mac. It's gorgeous. I didn't actually want to remake this because although this is adorable, I didn't want to make a fake Mac interface. I wanted something a little more functional than that. But this is an amazing project, just super inspirational. And so I did all of that. And then for the e-ink calendar project, among the files that Louis offered is hardware folder with 2 3D printing files in it for his stand. And so that's when I found CraftCloud, which is a site that's like a clearinghouse for people who do 3D printing. And I uploaded the files there, and you pick and I'd never done a 3D print before of any kind. And you pick your materials and finish and all those things and how fast you want it, and you get quotes. And then from there, basically, you can order, like you're ordering from Amazon, a 3D print of the files you uploaded, and they will just show up at your house as quickly as you might want them. So the next step is this, which is BBEdit. The e-ink calendar project that Louis put together and that John Calhoun adapted is a bunch of Python scripts. It comes with the display itself. The e-ink display comes with a set of e-ink libraries for Python that basically, well, let me show you briefly. I don't know if you can see that text very well, but basically there's this Python script called Data Helper. It's doing things like, let's see, the guy was using a standard CalDAV, I think, call, which wasn't going to work for me because my family calendar is in Google Calendar. So I adapted another Python script I had done, which queried the Google Calendar API, threw that in here. I've got my WeatherKit thing that's adapted here where it's got the different conditions and the highs and the lows. It's pulling all of that stuff in. And that's the Data Helper script. Behind it is the display run script. This is actually the thing that does all of the display running. And what it does is pretty cool. It's using an image library in Python, and it's building up an image. So as it runs through, it basically starts to render content into an image file one at a time. So as I scroll through here, basically, we will start with the current day. We move on to the year progress right in here. It pulls the calendar information. I've got if it's trash night, then draw the picture. And really, it just goes through from top to bottom, more or less, and says, draw all the calendar items. I have some really hairy logic about what happens with an all-day event and how it gets drawn. All-day events in Google Calendar don't have a time, so I have to create a fake time There are time zones that come into play. It's awful. In the end, though, all it does is export to images in BMP format, of all things, one black and one red, and those are sent to the e-ink display. The red, if there is any content on the red, which there isn't right now, those would be rendered as red, and then the rest of it is rendered as black. Now, I'm going to switch back over to my hardware view here. So the next thing is getting this to run. So I've got it set up, and it runs on a timer. And the amazing thing is if I pull the plug, it actually is fine. You could put this on a smart outlet or something and only turn it on for about 2 minutes a day, and it would be fine, because when there's no power to an e-ink display, nothing happens. The power is really only there for the Raspberry Pi to draw on the screen. So I have this on my local network because it's got Wi-Fi. It's actually really easy to update it, and I'm going to go in here, and you can't see this part, but you're going to have to trust me on this, and I'm going to back up to SSH into this thing, this little calendar that I've got here, and I'm going to change to the e-ink calendar, and we're going to run display run.py, and this is, oh, get ready for something really exciting. There it goes. It wipes the screen so it's perfectly clear, and then it draws the image. Because if it doesn't wipe the screen like that and blink it, it ghosts a little bit, and you get like the ghosts of what was behind it, like a Kindle screen. It's essentially a Kindle screen, and that's it. So I can update it however often as I want. I could put it on a smart switch, so it. I'm not sure. My challenge with the smart switch idea is I'm actually not sure whether the smart switch, what takes up more power. Maybe you could tell me on the Discord. What takes up more power, a smart switch that turns a Raspberry Pi on for 5 minutes every day, plus the 5 minutes of Raspberry Pi energy, or a Raspberry Pi that's on 24 hours a day? I honestly don't know, because the smart switch uses power because it has to stay on and connected. Does it use more power than a Raspberry Pi? Maybe it doesn't. Let me know what you think. Anyway, this is my project. This is my janky 3D printing here. Oh yeah. That's, sort of a fake wood grain. Nothing on the back, so it's just this raw thing here. But honestly, when it's just sitting out in the kitchen, you don't see the back. You just get this thing. And the lighting doesn't show off the like weird edges of the 3D print. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. Now, I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of this space. Like, surely there's more I could put in there. I thought about doing like a weather forecast chart. Haven't figured that one out yet. Anyway, this was a really fun project. It's still going on. It helped that I knew Python and that I could pick up the GitHub Python scripts and use those as a base. It's gotten me to go out and do things like buy black and white line art, clip art of cardboard boxes and paper and bottles, and other weird stuff that I found on the internet. But it's been a lot of fun, and I actually find myself using this when I'm in the kitchen, which is where it lives right now. So that, I think, is my entire first video report, the e-ink calendar project. Hope you liked it. Let me know what you're looking for future videos. I would love to know what you're looking for. Dan will be back from his leave next month. We're going to do all sorts of other videos and stuff too. And the summer will be over, and things are going to get really interesting early in September with new iPhones and then Macs and iPads after that. And, we'll be back to it. But meanwhile, I've got my little e-ink project and some other stuff going on. Thank you for being a supporter at the new levels for Six Colors. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure Dan does too, wherever he is, holding a baby. And I'll see you next time.